Those are big games for you.
Oh, yeah.
Point-wise, everything. Mm-hmm. How's it looking? What are you looking ahead or no? I mean, when you look at it.
I mean, I'm trying not to look ahead, but like I always got Poland in the back of my mind.
Yeah. Your rival, huh? Mm-hmm. Where's that at this year?
We got them home this year.
At home?
Oh yeah.
So, on in the season, regular season, that could be important for Poland as well. Mm-hmm. They might have that. You guys are in a little better position playoff-wise.
Yeah.
But sometimes that game determines how you get in. It wasn't that way last year.
Yeah.
As well?
Yeah.
We haven't. Last year we didn't beat them in like 3 or 4 years, and getting that win was one of the best things I've ever accomplished with my team in my life. It was awesome. Just 7-6. It was a great game.
How important is this to you? I mean, your senior year. I mean, is it something you guys thought? Do you talk about this all year long, or is it just? Are you allowed to talk about playoffs? Or, I mean, what's more? How important is it as you go down the stretch here?
I mean, coming off the past couple years, the team not even making it to the playoffs, it kind of makes us feel good that we're part of the program that has turned the football team around and got to that point. And hopefully, we want to make it, but we have to do it week by week, take it week by week,
Yeah.
and take care of business.
And you're in a pretty difficult region too, right? When you make the playoffs.
Yeah.
So you really do have to take it 1 week at a time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Let's talk for a minute beyond high school. Any thoughts, Mason? You're a wrestler. Give us a little background on your wrestling at Canfield.
Well, wrestling team last year we took second at state, so pretty big accomplishment there. We sent 5 wrestlers to state last year. I think Jake Asarco, C.J. Frost, Giorgio Polis, me, and David Crawford. So definitely our wrestling team is stacked. Second in the state, Division II. We had 3 placers and 1 state champ, Giorgio Polis. And definitely wrestling just made me such a better football player. Like, I never wanted to wrestle in my life. The coaches just kept bugging me. The head wrestling coach, Coach Conley, just kept saying to me, just come out for the team. And I'm like, I ain't coming out for the team.
What year was this?
My sophomore year.
In high school.
Yeah. And I'm like, I don't want to come out for the team. So basically I come out one day. I go through this practice. I'm like, this is terrible. We're just running and conditioning in this 90-degree room. But, it taught me leverage, how to use my hands, and it just made me a tougher person.
Better football player.
Oh, yeah, 100%.
So in 2 years, you went from not even being a wrestler to making it to the state.
Yep. Definitely, that's one of my biggest accomplishments. Wrestling to me is probably the best decision I've ever made in my life, to go out for the wrestling team. Because I've been getting some contact from some Division I wrestling schools lately. I'm going to go up on a visit to Cleveland State in a couple weeks. Hopefully that goes well.
Would you have a preference, football or wrestling, at the next level?
Not really. Wherever there's some money, that's where I'm going. If I'm getting my school paid for, that's what I'm going to do.
Give some props to your younger brother.
Oh, yeah. He's a beast. He got hurt last week, concussion.
His first name?
Vince.
Vince. Mm-hmm. What's he play?
He plays right guard and defensive tackle.
Does he wrestle too?
Yeah, he wrestled for his first year last year.
Not bad?
Not bad. He had a shoulder injury, so he didn't really get to experience the full experience of his first year.
So you got a pretty good freshman class, and he's a part of that, or sophomore class.
Oh, yeah.
He's a part of that?
Mm-hmm.
How about yourself? What's your situation? Want to play college football?
I mean, that's every kid's dream, is to play college football. But, I mean, if it works out for me, it works out. I'm not going to make that my main priority. My main priority is just finding a school, getting into that school, and planning my life.
And you mentioned interesting major choice, possibly.
Yeah, I plan on majoring in mortuary science, and hopefully one day I want to own my own funeral home. And
how does one get involved in it? Is there a family business connection to that at all, or is this something you watch TV, or what makes you have affinity for that kind of business?
Well, my mom kind of brought it up to me and made it brought it to my attention, and ever since when she brought it up to me my freshman year, it's kind of always been in the back of my mind, because I know they would make good money. I'd never go out of business. People are always passing away, and I mean,
this is true.
Yeah, I mean, I'm pretty good in science. I liked dissecting things and stuff like that, so hopefully this would.
And dissecting
go well.
offenses as well.
Yeah.
Yes?
Sir.
Height and weight, real quick, both of you guys. You got some good size here.
6'2", 250 pounds.
And you like to cause havoc in the
Yes,
backfield?
sir.
Yeah.
Yes, sir.
And how about yourself?
6'2", 250-ish, 245, 250, around that range.
So Canfield, you guys are excited about your season, huh?
Oh, yeah.
It's got a couple good weeks left in the regular season. Week 8 already here upon us.
Oh, yeah,
Well,
flies.
well, that's great, guys. Give my regards to Coach Pavlansky and wish you guys a lot of luck remainder of the season and luck in your rivalry game in Week 10 against Poland as well. And hopefully some good things will happen in the postseason if you get that far.
Thank you
Thank
very
you.
much.
All right, thanks for joining us,
Appreciate
guys.
you for having
and,
us.
We're going to be back with more. We got a surprise guest up next on the docket here at Kelly's Bar on Mahoney Avenue in Youngstown. This is Yards After Contact.
High school football is in full swing in the Mahoning Valley, so come on down to Kelly's Bar at 1597 Mahoning Avenue in Youngstown, your best place to catch all the football action. On Wednesday, $5 burgers, $6 open-faced brisket sandwiches, and $2 well drinks, plus the best high school football podcast around, Yards After Contact with Gary Houstu and Ryan Kelly, starting at 7 o'clock. On Thursday, 35-cent boneless wings, $3 fireballs. On Friday, the official pre- and post-game stop for all high school football fans, fish dinners, burgers, and great happy hour specials. On Saturday, Kelly Smoker Saturdays, great Buckeye specials, 10 large flat-screen TVs, and a great spot to enjoy some Saturday college football. On Sunday, it's your NFL Sunday ticket, $5 for domestic buckets, 35-cent wings, and starting September 20th, every Tuesday night, MVP Entertainment will be here for team trivia and karaoke starting at 7 p.m. Kelly's Bar and Grill, 1597 Mahoning Avenue, Youngstown. Come for the food, stay for the fun.
And welcome back to Kelly's Barn, Mahoning Avenue in Youngstown, Ohio. This is Yards After Contact. Special guest of the night. Where do we start? Former head coach at Ursuline, state champion 3 times possibly at Youngstown Ursuline. And now he happens to be at Canton McKinley High School, second year, correct?
Yep.
A lot of good things going on. First of all, number 1 in Division I, Region 1. Unbelievable. Starting the season off with a loss to Hoban and won 6 straight after that. Sitting at number 1 in the seed. Just beat Massillon Jackson.
Correct.
Who beat Boardman, so they have a little bit of comparison there. Boardman a couple weeks ago. Dan, things are going. Dan Reardon, head coach at Canton McKinley High School. We brought him here just because of a couple reasons, but one of them, he's a great football coach and good friend of mine, and I'm glad to have you here, Dan. Thanks for coming.
Thanks for having me. I appreciate it.
How exciting are things in Canton right now? Can you describe it for us?
Well, first of all, I have
So
to-
many things are going on.
First of all, I have to give Ryan Kelly a shout out. So I told him he had to bring me some Belleria pizza. That was an exchange of gas money for getting over
There you
here.
go.
So I appreciate that. But as far as Canton goes, everything's good. It's been an exciting 2 years. We've had we merged Canton Timken and Canton McKinley High Schools last season, and had some growing pains and things like that. But I thought our kids really did a good job with that. This year, there's all kinds of construction going on with the Hall of Fame, and it's been a little bit unsettling, but our kids have handled it. And that's on the non-football side of things. On the football side of things, we're off to a great start and looking to finish the season strong.
Well, I saw the opener against Hoban. You came away with the loss in that
Yep.
one. You won 6 times after that. Are things going well for you? Are you improving? Talk about your season, if you could, in a nutshell.
Well, we had a big physical game against Hoban opening night, and that game we had a
You're in it at halftime.
yeah for
Right?
sure, and we
Going
were,
in for what was
we-
it, the tying score?
we
I don't
were
remember at
going
the
in
time.
to tie at halftime and didn't get in. Give them
On the
credit.
2-yard line, maybe,
Yeah,
or-
a 4th and goal from the 1, and they kept us out on the last play of the first half, and then we actually come out and felt good. Our defense stopped them, forced a punt, and we fumbled the punt deep in our own territory, and they capitalized like good teams do. And we had some mistakes in the third quarter. Then the game kind of spiraled out from there. But I don't think the score was indicative of the game, and it was a very good football game for deep into the third quarter. But give them credit; they're a great team. Since that point in time, we've grown significantly. Our defense, I think, is kind of where we hang our hat. We have a very fast, physical defense, and those guys are doing a great job. The other night we played Massillon Jackson. They were 6-0. Our defense caused 4 turnovers. I mean, just really flying to the football, hitting when they got there, and did a great job that way. And that was the difference in the game.
I guess anybody who watches you play, your quarterback stands out for a couple reasons. He looks great out
Yeah.
there. He looks the part. Playing pretty well, would you say?
Yeah,
Dominic
he
Robinson?
is. Yeah. Dominique Robinson is a big, tall, athletic kid. He's still pretty raw as a quarterback. He has
He was
very.
a Timken kid, was he not?
He was. He started as a sophomore at Timken. Really kind of came out very, very late going into the sophomore year, and they handed him the ball and said, "You're the quarterback."
Is he a basketball guy?
He is a basketball guy, yeah, and track and everything else. Dad was a great basketball player at McKinley High School, and really a great kid and a great family. Just a very, very solid young man. I mean, he's a kid. He doesn't get rattled. Just very even keeled. He's an early college student. 4.0 kid. I mean, just a great leader. Just a very level-headed kid.
Very
But
impressive.
when you see him walk through the door, he's the best looking guy in the room, no
Yeah.
matter what room he's in. And, really just big physical, broad shoulders. He's 6'4", 225 pounds. And he has a lot of upside as a quarterback. I mean, he's only scratched the surface, in my opinion.
And as I saw last year, week 1 to week 10, when you beat Massillon at the old Fawcett
Right.
Stadium now, I guess you could say, he improved. Is he on that same trajectory this season?
Yeah, I think so. I think that the game really slowed down for him this year. Last year, man, things were coming at him very, very quickly. And again, he's a 3-year starter, but again, has very limited quarterback experience because he never played before his sophomore year and never played that position. So for being a 3-year starter, he has probably the most limited reps out of any 3-year starter out there. But he's getting better and better. The game has slowed down for him. We do a lot of RPO stuff where he has to make a decision every single play. And the other night, I mean, he pulled the ball on a couple pass reads and just threw some darts in there. And, it really does a great job managing the game.
Now, what I like about your offense and watching you over the years and even this year at Hoban, I just love how you call plays. First of all, do you have fun doing that, Dan?
I do.
mean,
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. And,
Is there a method to your madness at all? I mean, is it just different every week? Or
it is different every week. I think, I think from an offensive standpoint, our job as coaches is to put kids in position to make plays. And from year to year, your personnel changes. And I always get the question, what kind of offense do you run? I get whatever offense our kids have the ability to run. So if we have 4 good receivers, we're going to get them on the field. If we have tight ends, we'll use them. If we have fullbacks, we'll use them. And, everything in between. So this year, we're much more multiple formation-wise. Last year, we were predominantly 4 wides, probably 85-90% of the time. We use 1 or 2 tight ends this year. We do use a fullback at times, so we're much more multiple that way. We are a tempo offense. I like to play fast. I like to maximize our number of plays, just to give our kids more opportunities. So,
let me ask you this:
go
a
ahead.
trick play in your offense isn't a trick play, though, is it not?
not necessarily.
especially in the
yeah,
Hoban game, right?
yeah,
You whipped out a
yeah,
couple important
yeah.
calls.
We're I think we're willing to do that stuff, and I always tell the kids, kids love running trick plays, and as a coach, I will call it as long as it looks really good in practice. And it's one of those things where we experiment continually with that stuff. We're running it against our defense. We're running it against the scout team. And if we can be successful both ways, consistently against the scout team, and then that would be the starting point. Then we'll do it against our defense. If we can trick them, then okay, it's ready for game action. It has to look good in practice, but as long as it does, I mean, I'm willing to call it. And, I think that gives the kids a chance to have some fun, gives them something to look forward to. And also, there's times kids will come in and say, hey, Coach, how about this? Let's try this or that. And, okay, let's try it.
You call the plays?
I do, yeah.
Do you have to do that? Is that just who you are? Could you give that job to somebody else?
You know what? 2 parts to that. Number one, I really enjoy doing it. I would have a hard time not doing it. That's the first part, just because it does get me involved and I do enjoy it. On the other side, I wouldn't say that I would never give someone that job. I would have to have very, very high confidence in that person, though, that he was on the same page as me.
Is it hard to be the coach and the coordinator?
It is, and I think particularly at a place like McKinley. It's a big school. There's a lot of demands that you don't have at a lot of other schools, from booster clubs and media, and it's just a little bit more. It's probably more like a college situation than most high schools are. So it is challenging, but we find a way to do it.
Now, was the goal to be number one in your region going into the postseason, or is this just evolving as your season's going on, or what?
It's funny you asked. I had that question from a local radio show just earlier today, and I've always
Ray.
well, I was on his show, but Kenny Rhoda, locally in Canton.
Sorry to interrupt.
No, that's okay. I had Ray Jeske and Kenny Rhoda today, but the thing that Kenny asked, he asked kind of the same thing, and I've always been in the mindset that, if there's a ranking, if there's a computer poll, I mean, whatever it is, we want to be number one. I mean, that's what we're shooting for, and there are people that, try to lay low and say, oh, it's okay if you're lower ranked and you can surprise some people, and I've always been in the mindset that, it's a bigger challenge to be number one and to maintain that ranking because people are gunning for you. So to me, it was always a bigger achievement to do it that way. And when we were at Ursuline, we continually talked about that. And look, there's a target on our back, and you better be ready and better bring your best effort because you're getting everybody's. And then when you are number one at the end of that, you got everybody's best effort. And I think there's a great satisfaction when you're able to do that.
So obviously you have a couple games coming up, but
Yeah.
then there's week 10. What is that like? Could you kind of give us in a nutshell the Massillon McKinley week? Is it as crazy as you hear? And you've been doing it for a while. You two
Yeah,
schools over there. Is it the oldest?
It's I think we're going 127 years, and going strong. And it is a thing. Both towns are very, very passionate about it. When I first got the job, a lot of people told me, hey, you can lose every game, but if you win that one, you'll be okay. And my response to that was, you say that now, but let me go start 0-9, I won't make it to week 10. And, people always got a chuckle out of that. But as far as that game goes, Tom McDaniels used to talk about it when we were at Harding. And, you kind of listen, you're like, oh, yeah.
The former coach at McKinley.
Yeah. And he used to tell stories about what went on and how big of a deal it was. And I didn't wholeheartedly believe all of it until I lived through it. And you kind of take it with a grain of salt. Like, yeah, it's a big game. I get it, but it is different. It is different than anything I've ever been involved with. And from a media standpoint, it was every bit as hectic that week last year as any state championship game I coached in. And I was blessed at Harding, coached in 1 and 4 at Ursuline. The media exposure is unlike any game, and again, comparable to a state championship game. From a atmosphere of the game, it's as good as I've ever been around. Just the passion that the fans show, and I thought Ursuline Mooney would get me ready for it. And
Are they comparable in any way?
It's comparable, but it's not. I hate to say it because I had great years at Ursuline. I have great people and great fan base. It is at another level. It's at another level, and so what I told some of the guys that asked me about it after the game, to me it was like state championship and Ursuline Mooney wrapped into 1 week, and if that's possible to do, I mean, it would. Then the other thing is just the events going on. There are events literally every single day that the team and or teams are both in attendance, luncheons and breakfasts and bonfires and pep rallies, and so it's like every rivalry game I've ever been a part of, like all of those events wrapped into 1 week, and nothing is missed. I mean, there's parades, it's at a whole different level, and the passion that the two towns show, it's unbelievable.
Well, you're 1-0 in that Indy game for you guys. That's our Ohio State Michigan game for you, obviously. Before we go any further and maybe talk about what's going on with the old Fawcett Stadium, which is no longer in existence.
Correct.
Shift to Ursuline for a minute.
Yep.
Fondest memories. I mean, obviously you're going to say state championships, but
Yep.
but what do you remember and hold dearly the most when you think